Hang on, hang on. God, it always starts the same, doesn't it, with me being... I just realised I wasn't quite ready. And good, because there's no one there. God, there anyway. I'm not happy with the air today. Hang on. We're a bit of bumbling around, I'm afraid, for those people who watch it later. Nobody turns up. Well, sometimes nobody turns up at all. Look how red I am. I think it's age, isn't it? There we go. Hang on. Right, I'm going to get me coffee. I'm there. Hello, 6 people. Good. That's good. I'm just going to faff around a minute. Hey, how you doing, Will? Oh, I'm going to put my mic on. Good afternoon, Daryl. Right, nice to see you. Let me just. I'm not ignoring you because that would be ridiculous. But I just want to find something. I've just finished editing and my computer slowed down, so I couldn't do anything. So I know this isn't entertainment, but there you go. Right. I'm trying to find something to read out. Oh, I don't know where it is. Hang on. Right. Where are you? I'm going to talk about going pro. Someone asked me a question about going pro, and I wanted to answer it. And I can't find it, which is really annoying. But bear with me, and if I can't do it, I'll do it in a minute. Oh, it's really annoying. The Sydney must do things at time. Sorry about this, everybody. This is absolutely tedious, I know. And by the way, if I miss anybody, because you know that when I'm talking, not when I'm looking at my cute computer in this. Oh, there we go. Yay, got it. Right. So Victor emailed me, and I said I'd answer his email because it was a very nice email, and I thought, because when people take it's lovely when people comment, but he'd sort of written me an email, and I thought it'd be quite a good thing to talk about. But it won't be just talking about that. If you ask a question and I miss it because I'm talking, or put it when this goes on the site after the live recording, do put some comments on there because I can see them. To watch these comments, I've got to watch the whole thing back live, which sometimes I don't get time to do. But so comment with questions now. And if I see them, that'd be great. If I don't, I apologise. But then put the questions on the comments of the new video once it's uploaded. Do you know what I mean? But I hope everybody's well. Thank you so much for joining me. It's really, stressful is the wrong word really, but full on up to Christmas. I'm not one of those magicians that works every night up to Christmas. I'm not that busy, work-wise, but I've got the kids and other stuff like that. So it is actually quite nice to just be here and doing this and knowing it's live and knowing it's kind of happening now and it's not just another job I've got to do afterwards. I'm just going to lower this a little bit. So, do let me know you're there if you're there. And apologies if I say that and then I don't answer your comment. I got a message from Victor, right? And he said, it's Victor from in France. He was on last season. He might not be here this time, he said, but I said I'd answer the question so you can watch it later. I was only live the other day. Wanted to tell you I really like your channel. Yay! Thanks a lot. And I've got a few emails with really not, and it does mean an awful lot when people say they like it. It's not just for the ego, but just so I know I'm doing something right. I'm sending you this email because I'd like to start a new career as a professional magician, and I'd like to know if you have any tips on how to start, how to get booked, etc., like the business side of magic, I guess. Working on a website, business cards done, planning on creating an Instagram account, absolutely. Always thinking about working with an event planner company, but I don't know how this really works because I guess they can't take the first guy that comes and says I'm a magician. Right, so I'm going to give you, I'm a bit plain here, it looks like I'm in hospital. Morning from Toronto, damn timing, got to take the talk to preschool. Meddling kids, mate, that's what it is. Meddling kids are getting away with everything, don't they? So, here's the thing. Everybody's got an opinion about the business of magic. Morning. And this is my opinion based purely on experience. I have talked about this a little bit before. Hopefully it won't be too repetitive, but I think it's always a good and interesting conversation. And I will stop for comments. So you're starting a career as a professional magician. First of all, I look at what I wish I would have known. What I wish I would have done and what I wish I would have known. What I wish I would have known is, actually, I think what I did know, because I was a performer, I was a street performer when I became a magician. So I knew the importance of connection, connecting with the people. It's like any job, right? Being good at that job is expected. Try, and I think I went and came back then. Too many people try and sell themselves as a magician on the back of being good at magic tricks. That's a given. It's like if you get a job doing anything. If you get someone's PA and you said, I'm good at organising stuff, they kind of expect that. It's the other stuff that will get you the job. So the stuff that will get you the job as a magician is how they connect with you. And of course you've got to be good enough, that's a different thing. But all of my work that I get regularly comes from people who met me, know me, and like working with me. And that's it, right? We're all doing the same stuff. Well, no, we're not, are we? Well, we're all doing the same stuff. Some of us aren't doing quite enough, maybe, which is a different thing. But we'll look at the skill side in a minute. So make sure that you are really nice, genuine, and likable. And likable doesn't mean in that cheesy, I'm desperate for everybody to like me sort of way that you get salespeople doing. They do that thing of, you know what I don't like is when you're in, and it's not that I hate it, but you know when you're getting your shopping and you're putting your stuff in your bags, it's not that I hate it, but you know when you're getting your shopping and you're putting your stuff in your bags and they say, oh, you doing anything today? And you know they don't care what you're doing. They're doing it because they've been told to say it. And then you've got to get into this whole dialogue of kind of, well, what I'm doing is I'm going to see my mum, and they don't care. And it just feels like an awful fake. Not. I don't mean be nice like that. I mean, just be a genuine person. Just be really happy that you're sitting in front of someone, showing them what you do. And I think that's the biggest bit of advice you can. Your magic tricks will be good enough, all right? No, even if you balls them up like I do sometimes, if we're all doing similar, if you've got a card to wallet, if you're doing all that stuff, that's going to press those buttons, fine. It's that connection, and that connection comes with it comes with practice, all right? Don't expect to go out there and feel really comfortable straight away, right? That's fine. It's a skill like anything. It comes with practice, which comes on to the next bit in a minute, and everybody says this, and I've said it on one of these videos before, work way more on people seeing you perform than working on your website and working on your marketing. You can be the best marketer in the world. You've got to deliver the goods. You will get most of your work through word of mouth. Bill Malone said it on his first set of DVDs. If you're a really nice person, people like you, you're not cocky. Number one, don't be a cocky magician. That puts you head and shoulders above 99% of the magicians I've seen working. All right? Be humble, be cool, be a genuine person, all that kind of stuff. And then give them some really good magic. And sometimes it's almost unexpected. When you're really nice, they expect you to be the kind of cool. When you do something, people, there's a gap in the market. So skill-wise, all right, so practice doing that. Practice having meetings. Well, when you have meetings, by the way, I've got to have the window open so it's a bit more noisy because it's very, very hot in my office. They whack the heating up when it's winter, which is good. Oh man, I lost my thread. What was that? There was an alarm outside. Anyway, I'll try and think of. I think it will come back in a minute. So, oh yeah, that was it. So when you're having meetings with people, right? This is gold. Don't do what I did for years and have meetings with people who have got nothing to do with booking you. All right? Don't sit there for ages telling people what you do and they go, thanks very much, brilliant, you've shown them a trick, and you realise that they're not the decision maker. Don't waste your time having people, and don't be nice about it. Just say, I really need to talk to someone that will actually make the decisions, or be able to talk to someone who makes the decisions at least. So, because I had loads of meetings like that. And make sure at the end of the meeting you have a plan. There is one action. It's like, is it okay to get in touch with you next week to see what you've thought about it? It's not as much what you know as who you know. Absolutely. So make sure if you have a meeting with someone, always try and get a meeting, always try and get in front of people, and make sure you look decent. You don't look like ultra suited, but it's just make sure you look appropriate. Get in front of people, talk to them, make sure at the end of that meeting it's like, okay, what can we do next? Can I get in touch with you next week? Just so they know that will get some commitment off them. Get their details, very important. Skill-wise, it is who you know. You're absolutely right. That's the first bit. Skill-wise, I think people can feel skill. I don't think you have to be a super ultra flourishing magician to get the gigs and be a good magician and any of that sort of stuff at all. But you have to be competent. That doesn't mean you have to be competent the minute you get out there, first ever gig, because what you're going to be is you're going to be consciously competent. You're going to be thinking about every move and all that, and that's part of the process. Be happy with the fact that your first few gigs aren't going to be absolutely stunning. It doesn't mean you won't do really well. You might do. It might be great. It might not be. But part of the process is that learning. The practice does not stop when you do your first gig. That's like the next hour, the next quarter of your practice life is the actual working practice in the gig. So a lot of people think they get the moves good enough, that's it, they're ready to work and they stop practicing. You're refreshing sense of respect. I'm tired of watching kids on YouTube trying to teach card trick. Yeah, absolutely, totally. Which is why I started my cardmagiccourse.com. Sorry. So, be good at what you do. Understand they expect you to be good. But if you are, understand that there's a lot of magicians that haven't got a high skill level. So if you can just communicate skill without being, I'm not on about being flourishy. I'm on about that thing of that you do something that just feel, I don't know, they can feel it, right? They can feel that it's not a self-worker. They can feel that you're doing something. Hi, Josh. And so what I'm saying is just be very competent, right? 4 levels of learning very quickly. Unconscious incompetent, you don't know what you don't know. Conscious incompetent, you've just realized you don't know it and it's really scary and horrible sometimes. Consciously competent, you can do it, but you have to think about it all the time. It's when you first pass your driving test and you're out there and you're thinking about the gears and you can do it and you're safe, but it's all a bit iffy. That's when you get your first gigs. You might drop back to that level a little bit, even though you might not have been. And then you go to unconscious competence when it just feels part of you. So get in front of people, get in front of people, get in front of people, get in front of people all the time. That's your marketing, all right? Give them business cards, but very importantly, get one off them and be blatant about it, right? If that transaction is happening for 10 years from being nice, my reviews come back saying how personable, absolutely, absolutely. They will absolutely love you and they'll want to work with you. Yeah, get the business card off them. If that's the sort of transaction that's happening, if they say, really like, you say, oh, could I get a business card and contact you? Be honest, don't do it in a sleazy way. And that's why, it's not that I don't like them. I think there are some amazing tricks with business cards, incredible. So I'm not saying I don't like them. But when I give someone a business card, I try and make that a very honest transaction. I'm giving you a business card because I want you to get in touch with me. What I actually say is when I give business cards, is I better give you one of them because if I don't do that, I'll never get work. And that, there you go. Mark Waddington fact, yeah, you go. So there's that. Marketing wise, right, this is what a lot of people don't know. Your website is better being minimal than full of stuff, and it's better that it looks professional than it looks unprofessional and just full of loads of stuff. All right, people are going to get a feel of your website. Mine is not very good at the moment. It looked great, but then I changed the picture because it was taken like 20 years ago, and it doesn't look quite right. But I don't get much work from my website at all. Thank you. That's really good. Just thought you should know. Thank you, Christopher. That's really, really kind. Thanks. There's too many magicians, too many professionals in anything that have really ropey websites. It's okay having not a brilliant website if you're not going to use that for your main marketing thing. And I don't, to be honest. I get my gigs through, I haven't got the time because I've got the kids to do loads and loads and loads and loads of gigs anyway. So I get all my stuff through word of mouth and people I meet. And other magicians, let's be honest, which I'm always deeply grateful for. But if you're really going to push your site, it's better that it's minimal, looks great, just looks professional and has footage on it and all that kind of stuff than it does just being full. There's too many tacky websites. Same with business cards. Your business cards should just be stylish, get some inspiration, business-like, and not, unless you're doing kids' parties and stuff, and then they can be a bit more fun. I don't mean really formal, just minimal. Just don't, make them, don't dress them up as what they're not, details and that's it. But if people ask you for your business card, always say, have you got one? 'Cause I'd like to contact you, because 9 times out of 10 they'll be really excited about getting your business cards. A lot of the time they'll be pissed, they'll get home, they'll lose it. So ask them for their details. Follow up a few days later, not the next morning, always looks a bit desperate. And just say, I just wondered if you'd be interested in doing what I do. This is what I can offer you. It'd be great if we could have a chat. Always try and get the chat, or the info. Don't do it on my email. If you can talk to someone, that would be lovely for them and you get more work out of it. Let me just see if there was anything else on here. Already working on a website, got business cards done. I'd like to know if any tips on how to start, how to get booked. Planning on creating an Instagram account. Yeah, I mean, the social media stuff I'm a bit rubbish at, because I break all the rules and do all manner of things on my social media. If you really want to push it, then do a specific, get your magic on there. I think, magic, we're magicians and we're so used to seeing magic on social media, but here's a tip, right? And this is a massive one. And this, if I'd have got my head around this 20 years ago, a lot of things would be different. Don't worry what other magicians think of you when you do your social media, when you do any marketing. You've got to get that outside of your head, because the better stuff you do on social media, the way you do social media, if it's for lay people to book you, other magicians are going to get annoyed with it, and they're going to go, oh, he's doing that again, or everybody does the same thing. Yes, they do, because it works, all right? So sometimes I put stuff on my Facebook that I know magicians would look at and go, oh God, that's awful, but it's not for them. Most people on Facebook aren't magicians on my personal Facebook. They're friends, they're people that have booked me. I don't know most of them, and there are a lot of magicians, but you will get people that, okay, so I used to worry putting in magic stuff, and I still do, and there are certain people that I'll have pictured in my head. I think, oh God, they must think I'm a right knob, and they would, but you're not doing it for them. And you've got to decide what you're doing with your social media. There are way too many people trying to impress other magicians, but then saying that they're doing it for business. Talks Magic have helped me more than you can imagine, my friend. Oh, I'm really glad, David. So that's what I've learned. So try and be, and I say this about my personal development stuff as well. Try and understand you're on your own path, and with your marketing and becoming a magician, have a real goal at what that looks like. Get a really good idea of what that looks like. Write down the things you want to do, the practical things you need to do to get that. If there's parts of your magic that aren't scrap, work on them. Get your website done. Like I said, get it up there, minimal rather than full of stuff. Don't spend too much money on it. You don't need to. Get some footage on it. Be a lovely person. Do your magic. Always work on it. Be passionate. Show compassion and love for the people around you, and respect them. Even the people that are being dicks when you're working for them, because they're drunk, they're having a night out, they don't get it, all right? Yes, they might say, can you make my wife disappear? And we all know it's annoying, and they do the jokes about, bet you can make that disappear quickly when you're having something to eat. Don't worry, they're nice people. They're just a bit pissed and a bit stupid. But the minute you start getting that hate and that contempt, it fuels everything. And I've been there many times. So try and just really be mindful of how lucky we are to do what we do, because we really, really are. And the amount of times I've turned up I remember doing a gig in London, and there's about 3 other magicians there. I don't very, very rarely work with other magicians, not because I don't want to. I'd love to, but and it was down in London. And we had to do close-up, and we had to do a 10-minute set for the audience afterwards. And I was so used to that. It was my comfort zone. And these other people weren't quite used to it. They were quite well known on the close-up circuit, but then hadn't done much stage. I'm not going to mention names. And I still don't really know them very well. And they were making excuses straight away. They were kind of going, oh yeah, it's going to be a really rough show at the end, and oh, these people look a bit this, and the stage is a bit rubbish, and you could and all it was is insecurity, because they know that if they didn't go down well, they had already said stuff to blanket that fall. So if they've said, oh, the lights are rubbish, and they're down their arse, they say, oh well, I said the lights are rubbish. It's all quite subconscious. This power is in silence. Yeah, if you've got a serious problem, say the book a lot, I'm really worried about this, and I do that. If the people can't see me, I say, look, by the way, these people are going to see me. If there's nothing you can do, great, but that's a real thing. That's not me trying to cover my ass. Well, it is, but genuinely. But if you want to feel, I see people turn up and they're complaining about their dressing room, and it's not a proper dressing room. You're doing 2 hours of card tricks, mate. Get changed, do your card tricks and go home. We get paid well. We do a lovely job, even when it's a tough job, and it's. I've got to stop doing it on my phone. This. I was driving to a gig the other day, and like I said, I don't get loads and loads of work in December, but it was a really nicely paid gig, and I didn't have to do that long, and I was very tired, and I was kind of complaining to myself in the car, driving to the gig, and it's not that far. It was a lovely gig, everything about it, people were great, and I really had to stop myself from getting in a bit of a like, I was a bit down that day and all that. And I just had to stop and just think and go, Steve, what are you doing? You're going and you're doing something that you love for really nice people for money, you know? And yes, we've put all the work in. I'm not saying we shouldn't respect that, but, you know, just sit back and realise, again, how lucky we are sometimes. Right, wow, that's a long one, 20 minutes. I hope that's helped. For those people wanting to get into things, and I hope for those people that are already into things, there's something there. Please, all I can say is if you're still here with me, if you could share it. I've been a bit critical of celebrities on here recently. There is a lot of shallow business, absolutely. Wait, I joined late. Summarise. I talked about becoming a professional magician, but watch it if you already are one anyway, because there's some stuff in it. So what I'll say is, I'm really struggling to get these out there. The recording of the reviews and everything takes a long time, which I'm not complaining about. And the sharing takes even longer, and I struggle to share it. So if you do like what I do, any of my stuff, if you can share it on social media, it will just, you don't know what it means. And check out the Card Magic course. Instead of having a Patreon account, I've got the Card Magic course, which is $9.99 a month, cardmagiccourse.com. My podcast is the Daily Fullcast, Faulkner. That's on Podbean and Spotify and stuff. Not NER, Fulk, Faulkast, Fullcast, yeah. But you can search that, and it's stevefaulkner.com/podcast. That's just about personal development and me rambling on about nothing. Funny that, isn't it? And follow me on Instagram at Steve Faulkner. Thank you very much, everybody. I really, really appreciate it. And if I don't, what day is it? Is it Christmas next week? I don't know. If it is, I'll see you after then. I'll put a shout out and we'll do something. All right then. Have a brilliant Christmas. If you don't see me before that, take care. Bye.